Hey everyone, welcome back to Noah's Archives. I'm your host, Noah Boyd, and if this is your first time joining this podcast, our whole goal and mission here is to inform the struggling college student or the incoming college student on the struggles and the trials that they may go through in college. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that truly transformed my entire college experience, and that is how do you build relationships with professors, and how do we interact with them? Are they your friends? Are they your enemies? Who are they? If that interests you, continue watching. Thank you for being here and enjoy. Bye, guys. What's up, guys? You might be wondering, going into this topic, why this topic? And I think a big part of it is obviously from my personal, testimony of being in college. But I can look around at my campus today or yesterday, in fact, and I went and talked to 3 or 4 of the professors that I've had throughout my years at college, and it was literally just checking in. It was just relationships that we had formed, whether it be discussing really cool research things and topics in biology with those professors, whether it's making jokes or poking fun at my chemistry professors or insulting my communications professor, whatever it is. I can look back at my freshman year, and I know that I didn't think that was possible. When I came onto campus my freshman year, I was like, these are people who will never want to be my friends. They don't care about me. They just need to get paid, and they're really smart. And that's all I thought. I remember my first class, or first 2 of my first classes, I had Human Anatomy 1 with a professor. I'm not sure if I should say her name. But the first day, she made us do some very weird things, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to be friends with this person. Fast forward to the end of that year, she had helped and stretched me and helped me grow in ways that I didn't know were possible. And then my other class, it was an Old Testament class, and it was a really, really intelligent guy who could speak Hebrew. And I was like, oh gosh, there's no way I'm talking to this guy. But he's just a welcoming face on campus now. If I see him, I just hey, what's up, doctor? And then I say his name. And we're just nice. But I think the reason an episode is warranted is because I feel like a lot of people have that experience of my freshman year where they're like, I don't know if I can be friends with these people because they are so far above me. They have so much authority over me. They are so intelligent. And while they are authoritative figures and they are very intelligent people, I think it's important for us to know that they're still humans. And I think that's why we need to talk about it. And I feel like it's important for us to understand just that. Hopefully, when hearing that experience and how impactful those relationships have been to me, I hope you can see how important that is. And with that importance, I hope you want to implement those. You want to have that. And if you do, it's perfect. That's what we're about to start. How do you start building those relationships? And the first thing I want to lay out, the first step, is to not dramatize who the professors are. Like I've already said, they are human beings. They want to talk. They want to conversate. They want to have friends, just like you. Now, there are certain boundaries, of course, but know they're human beings. So the first step, once you know that they're human beings and you demystify and de-dramatize all of that in your head, is something that I take to the extreme and have taken to the extreme my whole life because I am a teacher's pet to a T. All growing up, I was a teacher's pet, and that hasn't changed in my 4 years of college, and I don't think it'll change when I continue my education past these 4 years. I am the kid who hears the rules and instructions and I follow them. That is who I am. But one thing that I've learned in that is that showing up early to class and showing up a little bit after class is really important. I can look at those small conversations before and after class, and I can see how they were the foundation for so many meaningful relationships and connections with my professors. So what does that look like? You might be wondering. I, in the anatomy class I was talking about earlier, my freshman year, once I got over being scared of that professor, I showed up to class sometimes very, very early, like an hour, 30 minutes early. But I'm suggesting to you 15 minutes. Come 15 minutes early to class. They're going to see you when you walk in, or you're going to see them when they walk in, and you're just going to say, hey. And you're going to ask them how their weekend was. How's their day going? Some small things like that, just to show you care. And that's the before class interactions. The after class interactions are also a great time and an easy time to build rapport with your professors. And after class, it's a beautiful time where you can look at what you learned during that class time. And if you're like, I'm struggling with what you were teaching here, I don't know what you meant by this, something like that, walk up to them after class and be like, hey, I didn't understand this. Could you explain this a little bit more? It's intentional in the fact that you want to build relationships, but it's also going to help you as a student if you do that, because they're going to see how much you care and you're interested, and that's going to help them. All of this is helping you become a better student. So another thing that I feel like we need to keep in mind is keep it natural. Now, I'm I have social anxiety, and I've gotten over it as I've grown up. Over the past 3 years, I'd say I've grown farther and farther away from the anxious Noah that used to be, but I still struggle with it a lot. If I'm in an environment with really new people, I go off the deep end. I'll either go crazy and try and be over the top with everything that I do, or I'll shy up and shelter up and not talk to anybody. And neither of those things are great, but they're who I am. That's besides the point. What I mean by all of that is just be you. Don't try and be the perfect student when asking these questions or conversating. Don't try and be this really cool person when you're asking how they're doing. Just talk to another human being. It's really easy to try and be someone else. And I feel like that's what college wants to a degree. They want you to be somebody else, but that shouldn't be. College is all about growing in who you are, not trying to be someone else. So being natural is another thing that I feel like needs to be said. The next thing that I feel like we need to keep in mind is show genuine interest. People can tell when you're lying about certain things. If you go to after the class and you aren't interested in what's being taught and you try and act like you are, they're going to know. Don't do that. But that doesn't mean stay away from talking to them. Just don't fake it. I know that might be confusing, but you'll understand once you're in those situations. Just don't fake. I can imagine my chemistry class, inorganic chemistry. It's Gen Chem for everyone else, every school on the planet other than ours. And in that class, we were talking about thermodynamics and certain formulas with heat and how movement, all of that stuff, fancy stuff. And I went up to my professor after, and I was like, oh, this was so cool. And he, the first thing he said right after, he was like, what's your favorite part? And I crumbled. I was like, the formulas, and I felt so embarrassed. I clammed up and I walked out. Now we became really good friends after that, but that experience shows they could tell. I love that professor, but he could tell. The last thing I feel like after being genuine, being natural and treating them as human beings, I feel like the next thing is be consistent with who you are and be respectful all the time. Like I was saying earlier, these are still people with authority and they should be respected because of their position. But in that, you need to know the boundaries of your conversations. Like, if you're asking how their weekend was, that's great. But if there's like 15 other students in there and you're like, oh, I remember you telling me about this last week. How did that go? That's not going to fly. Like, that's not professional. It's not correct etiquette. Like, you don't do that. That makes tension, creates tension in the classroom, and the professor is going to be seen as having favorites, and it just creates a lot of unnecessary stress and anxiety on everyone in the situation. So be respectful and know your role in the classroom, as well as know their role in the classroom and what they're doing. So to wrap all of that up, be respectful above all. Like, know your role, know their role. Be consistent. So if you ask how they're doing, do it a couple times. Keep doing that continually. Do that. Be natural in who you are. Be genuine in who you are, and treat them as human beings. I feel like those baselines are what's going to help you become a better student and a better friend to these professors. So let's get into like what I've seen in my life a little bit more. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the benefits of building relationships with my professors and like what I've really seen. I know I got into it a little bit earlier in the beginning of this podcast, but like even just taking that before and after class conversation, it's opened so many doors. Like my biology professors, those anatomy, physiology, those types of classes, those professors have become like mentors to me. That if I didn't go to them in their office hours, or if I didn't have those one-off conversations, I wouldn't have those mentors in my life right now. And my chemistry professors, like, they're really funny. One just retired, living his life up. I used to talk to that man a lot. He's an amazing man. Like, he helped me a lot when I know I've talked about it before on this podcast, but like my freshman year when I was really down and I felt lost to a degree, that one chemistry professor, and then there was one later down the line, but that one I'm thinking about, he really helped encourage me with where I was in my life, and he was somebody I could just go and talk to. And then one of the other people I think about is my communications professor. Awful human. Joke of a teacher. Can't teach to save his life. But we could smile together. And in all seriousness, he has been very, very, I would say impactful, because we haven't had too many interactions, but he's been really encouraging to be around these past couple years. I didn't take a class with him until this year, but I saw him outside of school, and I was like, hey, I know you through this guy. And we would just talked more and more, and like we're able to smile and joke with each other now. And I feel like the one thing I want everybody to know is that none of this happened because I was special, or they like saw, Noah, you look like somebody I want to be friends with. No, I'm not special. I just recognized I needed to take intentional steps of meeting them and conversating with them, because they have a lot of students. A lot of people pass through their doors who don't really care. They want that C and they want to get out of the class. So when they see somebody who cares about them and what they're doing or what they have in their life, it changes them. So be really intentional with it and don't be afraid, because it's really important. So one challenge, or I guess a series of challenges I want to send your way, is whether you're in college right now or you're going to start college in the fall or wherever you are, these are some things that I would love for you to try and challenge yourself with. In whatever classes you're in, pick one thing. Like, you listen to a lecture and you're like, I genuinely am interested about this. That professor is either going to be like, I can stay after class and answer these questions, or meet me at these office hours. You're going to go up to them after class and you're going to be like, hey, I really loved this. Could I learn a little bit more about this? And whether it means like asking a very like insightful question, or genuinely just showing that you care, just try and conversate with them. And if you don't have that happen, do the other thing I was talking about. Show up a little bit early to class and just ask them how they are. how are you today? That's it. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Just do that. I hope that you can see, like, building relationships with professors isn't something that should be scary. It's something that everyone can do. So don't think you need this elaborate, crazy plan or formal meetings where you need to build these relationships. It could be as simple as, I'm really fascinated with what you just said. Could you tell me more about that? Or how are you? It's as simple as that. So start there. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and found it encouraging, insightful. I hope you use it. I really do, because professors at my school have changed my life, and I want your professors to change your life, because they chose to teach for a reason. They're intellectuals, they're smart, but they also care about you. And I hope you can utilize them as a resource and as friends. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed, share it, follow, and subscribe. Please like the video. I really hope you guys can see the importance and the mission of this podcast. And I pray that you can share this with somebody who you think needs it. Well, that's all I have for this episode. So remember, God loves you. I love you. Peace out, guys.